EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome into the JAKIB Media Halftime Show, where your Philadelphia Eagles are trailing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 16-9. And as we were saying just before we went live here, it almost feels like they're very, very lucky for it to even be that close, somehow magically that close, despite the fact that the Eagles are having horrendous tackling issues, just like Nick Sirianni has been asked about each of the last 3 weeks, and each time he has responded by saying the same thing. They are the top 10. They are top 5 in tackling percentage in the NFL. They are a really good tackling team. Not lately, this Philadelphia Eagles team, unfortunately, and still some mind-numbing play calling from this Philadelphia Eagles offense, a lack of fluidity, and it wasn't until you had a 55-yard reception by Devontae Smith to get you down the field, followed by a touchdown reception by Dallas Goedert to actually get you in the end zone for the first time in this game, and then unfortunately, after a penalty, they attempted to make the tush push happen. And although I agree there was a face mask, and I knew it before they talked about it because Bill Colarulo was breaking it down in our green room for us. Dust is settled now before the second half gets underway, and the Eagles are trailing by a touchdown here. Bill, number one thing that jumps out to you in the first half as to the Eagles' struggles, what is it?
Missed tackles. I can't remember an Eagles defense that was this bad in a really long time. I mean, I think we have to go back to when Andy Reid experimented making Juan Castillo, an offensive line coach, the defensive coordinator. I mean, things are bad. The only reason the Eagles have gotten off the field at all was because the Tampa Bay Bucs are dropping passes. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing now and watching this game is we're just fingers crossed that the Bucs make a mistake. The defense cannot get off the football field. And we've said it all along, this defense is so bad, the way the Eagles should win football games is win the time of possession battle. Run, control the clock. Well, they're getting dominated in the time of possession battle because they've had 26 plays and they've only run it with their running backs 5 times.
Yeah, they're at a -9 advantage right there. Time of possession is 19:06 in favor of the Bucs to 10:54 for the Eagles. Kayla, you talk about these situations that the Eagles have put themselves in now, and like I said, they're lucky to be in the spot that they are. You have drop passes, 6 total drop passes by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and maybe even a pass interference call. Bill, you saw it in the first drive of the game as well. I mean, the Eagles are lucky to be where they are right now.
They absolutely are. You look at this defense right now, and I don't know if they booked a vacation for next week, but they don't look like they want to be out on the field. I mean, it's horrendous. The last time we saw this, I can't even fathom. Maybe the last time the Eagles played is when we saw this bad tackling, but it looks like they don't even want to go out there. They don't even want to play. They're running into each other. We saw that with Maddox as well. There's a little bit of confusion, and there was a lot of talk about, the defensive coordinator switch, how that kind of messed them up a little bit. We heard about that on the broadcast with Darius Slay saying it's really tough for a team to kind of switch coordinators middle of the season, but you're in the playoffs now. It's time to stop blaming that. It's time to show up because right now they're not, and it doesn't matter how the offense looks because if the defense can't tackle, they don't win this ballgame.
Yeah, and as of right now, there is no next week, but for right now, let's get down to Tampa, talk to our man on the scene, NFL insider for JAKIB Media and co-host of Birds 365, John McMullen. John, is it looking as bad defensively there in Tampa with your bird's eye view of what the Eagles have going on? Or are they having a lot of those communication issues?
Yeah, they are. And sorry, it's really loud here. They're having a halftime ceremony to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day. But, the missed tackles have been the huge issue for the Eagles. Obviously, if you look at it from the perspective of Tampa Bay had 42 offensive plays to 26 for the Eagles. You mentioned the drop passes. I had Tampa Bay unofficially at 7 drop passes. If they could catch the football, they'd be running away in this game. But it is what it is. Devontae Smith got hot a little bit, kept the Eagles in the game. It's kind of amazing. They're only down 1 touchdown as we head to the second half, and they'll get the football. So it's not over yet, but certainly it was an ugly first half from the perspective of same things on defense, missed tackles, lack of communication. Late in the first half, you saw Kevin Byard had to use a timeout to say 10 people on the field because they weren't communicating correctly. And the missed tackles, you have to question what's going on there, because I heard you say, Mark, and he's right. I mean, Nick Sirianni, this team had been basically at the top of the league as a tackling team for most of the season, and all of a sudden that's gone south over the past couple of games.
And right now, John, you look at this defense and you say, okay, well, they look terrible in the first half. They can't make tackles. That probably means they don't want to see them on the field as much as they are. Do you think the offense coming out in the second half, they get the ball first, can they get any momentum? Can they have any adjustments? Because I think at the end of this game, if the offense can be on the field more than the defense, the Birds have a good shot.
Yeah, I mean, they probably got to get back to the running game a little bit. They fell behind, so they kind of forgot about that. They can come out in the second half now that it's a one-score game again. Hopefully they can get DeAndre Swift involved. They do have something with Devontae Smith. They cannot deal with him down the field. I mentioned in the pregame show the Bucs corners have kind of struggled this season. So they definitely have something there they can take advantage of. And, you know, the Bucs, it tends to be that way when you don't take advantage of a situation. It comes back to haunt you. Baker Mayfield's 11 for 24 in this game, guys, and it's not because he's been inaccurate. It's because of all the drop passes. I've never seen that many drop passes in one half of football, and I mean guys running in the middle of the field wide open on some of them. So the Bucs failed to take advantage of a situation where they could be winning this game by 2 or 3 scores. All of a sudden you look up and the Eagles are within a touchdown. That's got to be a little deflating for them heading to the locker room.
Yeah, John, we've seen Avonte Maddox at safety as we expected. They opened up the game with James Bradbury at the one outside corner. It looks like we were seeing Eli Ricks, Keely Ringo. What are you seeing there? Are they going to go with James Bradbury in the second half, or can we expect more from the rookies?
Yeah, they did sit him down for one drive, and it might have been because of an egregious missed tackle, and then he came back on. But yet they do keep mixing in Kaylee Ringo and Eli Ricks, and with Darius Slayback, I got to tell you, I don't know why. I think that's part of the reason for the miscommunications call, because there's so much, and the perfect example was the timeout they had to use. That's because guys didn't know who was supposed to be on the field, and they're running on and off, and all of a sudden you got to burn a timeout. Now, it didn't hurt the Eagles by any stretch, but it's an example of that lack of communication. And with Slayback and Bradbury there, I don't think you need Ricks or Ringo on the field. And I think Matt Patricia's been doing this too much, and he's got to settle things down, not keep making things more complicated.
John, any other adjustments you think could be coming to this offense, whether or not it's going to be running the football more, whether or not it's going to be getting Devontae Smith involved even more than he was in that first half, because he was obviously your big playmaker there. What do you expect the Eagles to do in this second half to try to, they're in the game right now, but to try to take control of it?
Yeah, I definitely think they want to continue to take advantage of Devontae Smith. As I mentioned, he made a great catch on the sidelines that was just out of bounds. They cannot cover him. They had a nice little scheme. I know people say they can't scheme anything up. They schemed Dallas Goedert up for an easy touchdown. So they can do certain things. Now that they're within one score, the running game can get back involved. And Jalen Hurts is playing pretty good football outside of the blitz. They continue to have the problem dealing with the blitz. It's probably going to be those quick throws, as you saw the bubble screen to Quez Watkins at the end of the half. It is what it is right now. They're just not very good at it. They're just not very good when it comes to blitz beaters.
Yeah, John, appreciate you joining us, man. I know you'll be back with us for the post-game show as well. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. John McMullen joining us from Raymond James Stadium there in Tampa. Kayla, one thing you need to see for the Eagles to take control in the second half, what is it?
I hate the word adjustments because we've talked about it all year, and they just really don't adjust. I just need to see the time of possession really more on the offensive side for the Philadelphia Eagles. I want to see them drive up the field on their first drive of the second half, because I do think, as bad as the defensive playing, if the offense can keep more time on their side, the Birds can move on to the next round.
Absolutely. Bill, what do you need?
Yeah, I agree with Kayla. I think this game, if the Eagles are going to win it, they're going to have to win it on offense by controlling the clock. We went into this game knowing there was no A.J. Brown. Jalen Hurts has a banged-up finger. Run the damn ball. I mean, you got DeAndre Swift. He's averaging over 4 yards a carry. we're all telling you what the identity should be of this football team. You have one of the best offensive lines. You have Joe Buck on the broadcast shocked at how little the Eagles are running the football. I mean, enough is enough. Get to the run, win the time of possession battle, and maybe we get lucky and escape with a win tonight.
I was talking about it in the pregame show. If DeAndre Swift is the star of this show, then you're going to go on. You're going to win this football game. So hopefully that's what happens in this second half. We'll be back with you guys for the Pond Hockey postgame show after the second half.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Football and Hooters, the perfect pair.
Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. I'm Gary Kane, president of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
Some say courage is something you're born with. Others say courage is something you find. In every generation throughout history, courage has been celebrated, sought after, needed. It holds the potential for a life of impact. But what if courage isn't just something you hope for or stumble upon? What if courage is something that can be shaped at a place that inspires you, where leaders invest in you, your community believes in you, and your life becomes something bigger than it could ever be alone?
EAGLES, Eagles.